What is up, Soy San Antonio fans? I know it's been a while since we've done a podcast together, myself and Benji, but we're back at here together through Zoom, the wonderful technology that we have. We're going to talk SAFC through the first 5 weeks of the season. First of all, before we do that and we break it all down, I would like to thank Mia's Mexican Grill, which is locally here in San Antonio, and it is family owned. Check out their daily specials and all their fabulous meals that they have at miamexicangrill.com. Benji, what is up, man? Let's start talking some SAFC, dude. How they've been doing through the first 5 weeks. What has gone right? What has gone wrong? Where they're at right now in the USL, and where we think they're going to be going.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, Soy San Antonio football family, thank you so much for joining us for this. I know it's long overdue. I've been eager, Miguel, to be talking about San Antonio FC. Normally, we try to wait the first 4 games to be talking about what our squad is looking like and what they're going through this season. I'm going to be honest with you. I got some things that concern me, but then again, I've been pleasantly surprised with our start. We are 4-1, Miguel. Who would have said that? Could have been 5-0, but 4-1, sitting third in the table in a very tough Western Conference of the USL.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely sitting in a good place. We're just behind Colorado Springs, who are perfect on the season through 5 weeks. They're 5-0, and surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly, is San Diego Loyal. Is right above us in second place. And then we, of course, holded the lockdown in third place with 12 points. So it's looking pretty good so far in terms of where we're at. There are some concerns with the season so far because we do have a really rough stretch of schedule ahead, and we'll go into that a little bit later. But another big concern is also injuries. Let's talk about that, Benji.
Oh, the injuries, man, since day one. Let's be honest, let's just jump right into the show. We're not even going to sugarcoat this. Look, like I said earlier on, very pleasantly surprised and then very disappointed because this should not be happening so soon. We have USL Cup. We have regular season just barely beginning. Let's be honest, Mitch Tainter's killing himself out in the defense. Jordan Farr just going to massive extent to jump in after the Bonilla fiasco fallout. Well, not even fallout, but him retiring and then all that drama going on. It's a lot for just 5 games. Let's just recap these first games. Game 1, loved it. We were there. We looked strong. I said, man, it's going to be a great season, Miguel. Enjoyed it. We came out, we ended up winning, but there was a lot of things that really concerned me again. We have no forwards. We have no really true middle. And this whole identity talk continues in 2022.
Yeah, we were off to a really good start, 3-0, which is, the best start in club history since 2016.
With one road win, actually scoring goals on the road. That was awesome.
Yeah, so we've started off with some road wins. We're off to a 3-0 start, 4-1 overall, so that's great. Unfortunately, that lone loss against Phoenix Rising, there was a lot of injuries for that match. We only had one striker available, which was Elliot Collier, the New Zealander. And the defense that Phoenix had, which was struggling at the time when they entered that game, they were 1-3 at that point, was able to shut down SAFC, and they were able to score 2 goals. Marcus Epps had a nice goal there at the end. I forgot who scored the first goal for Phoenix, but both goals were just tight angle goals. The defense did what they could, but at the end of the day, when we're struggling on offense, only have a couple shots on goal, and the defense is playing on their heels for the majority of the game. Stuff like that's going to happen. But, SAFC was able to recover. We went to Orange County, the defending champions, where we lost in the USL Western Conference Championship last year. And we were able to get a little bit of revenge or a little bit of payback there with that 1-0 win. And Collier was actually able to put that tight angle goal himself on the following week. So we kind of recovered from that. But let's talk about the injuries real quick, because San Antonio came in with a lot of firepower. We signed a lot of firepower in the offseason. We re-signed Santiago Patiño. We signed Katuka Mana from Austin FC, which was supposed to be like a big splash signing for us, that winger. It was supposed to be kind of like a replacement for Marcus Epps. David Lorera is injured. We have a couple other guys that have been out with like PC. Mohamed Abu has been out. Luckily, our defense has been pretty much together so far. And then we also had that nice addition of Jasir Kamiri coming back. So your thoughts on that, Benji?
Man, Kamiri, we missed him. Welcome back, just here, the Turkish king. Are you kidding me? Just your coming back is a breath of fresh air. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to what you were talking about, these first 5 games. First game, Miguel, we played against first game we had opened up the season here at home, ended up winning it. Then we ended up going down to the Rio Grande Valley, ended up winning. Then we took a trip up to Colorado, ended up winning. Then we ended up coming back home and lost to none other than Phoenix Rising, who, yeah, um, was working really hard. I'm sorry, before that, it was Orange County, ended up winning. I'm sorry, Phoenix, and then Orange County. Phoenix came in home, Darnell King, former SAFC, Marquise Epps, former SAFC, and honestly, the former SAFC players really took advantage of a very, very weak San Antonio FC, who did not have any true strikers. They didn't look good at the top. They weren't really clicking. And fast forward 1 week later, they go take a trip into OC. I wasn't very confident they're going to win on the road, to be honest with you. I said, man, if they're playing like this at home, we have nobody to score. Well, here comes the Mitchinator, man. Steps it up from the backfield, goes up to the front, goes into the box, gets his crossbar. Collier, the New Zealander, smashes one right past OC. Sweet revenge for me, because I can't stand how that game was played last year at the Western Conference Championships over there. And now we're coming back home, and we got a very tough El Paso team who is not looking too good. But let's be honest, any team that plays against San Antonio FC and they come to San Antonio, they love to come into our home and just embarrass us, man. Let's be honest with you. Being straight up honest, El Paso's not an easy team one bit at all. They're not the normal El Paso that we've seen since their inception into the USL League. They've always made, I mean, come on, they made playoffs first time up, then playoffs second time up, playoffs third time up, playoffs fourth time up, and then all of a sudden we have them now, and they're not doing too good. They're not really up there in the table, but man, they love to play against us, Miguel, and they're going to beat us if we don't get these injuries under wraps. They can beat us.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with San Antonio FC with the USL, there's really no requirements on injury reports. San Antonio FC does do on game day. They will report who is injured and who's out for the match, of course, right with the starting lineup. So we really don't have an idea of how long somebody's going to be out for, or if somebody even got injured throughout the week during the training ground, which is something of concern too, because I've written about it on soystaff.com. The injuries and the concerning injuries, especially on the training ground. For one, we seem to have Patiño got hurt, looks like during the offseason training before the regular season even started.
PC hurt.
PC got hurt, looks like during the training ground. I think Mana got hurt on the training ground. I mean, of course, this is all speculation, so we don't know for sure, but we have to assume somewhere these injuries had to happen because they didn't happen during the match. Of course, some of them, like David Loera and Beckford, they did get hurt. You saw them pull up with a hamstring pull, and Loera also got hurt with a lower body injury. So we see those during the game. Of course, unfortunately, we don't know how long they're going to be out for. So that's always kind of scary as an SAFC fan, especially with the history of so many injuries. When is this team going to be 100% or close to 100%? To get build some rhythm, because this team is a very good team on paper. Right now, through 5 games, we've only scored 6 goals, which is not a lot of firepower. The defense has been getting it done, giving up only 4 goals through the first 5 matches. Of course, the only outlier was the 2-goal performance by Phoenix that we gave up. But other than that, it's been 2 clean sheets and a couple 1-goal performances from RGV and LA Galaxy too. We were able to go away with the victories. So another main concern too, is with Alan Marchena is his use of substitutes. I believe we're still in that 5 substitute rule, and Alan Marchena doesn't seem to use a lot of substitutes. I understand the bench is getting kind of at a thin out there, but we're logging a lot of minutes for these players, and we're only 5 coming into the 6th week of the season.
Yeah, we have four players that should be starting. I mean, we have Atis Diouf, Cucuta Mena, Santiago Patino, who was supposedly going to come back and have an incredible year. I mean, how many goals did he score after his injury? 7 in the late into the second half of the season after he came back, scored 7 goals and started playing throughout the whole playoff times. And then this youngster, David Leora, I mean, there's no reason for this. This is insane, especially for the money that we spent. We loaned out Joe Gallegos for a ton of money, And then we get these players and we're hurt. Like, so either Marcino's being Marcino, which he can be very stubborn. We all know this. And he's dedicated to play his 11 players 90 minutes. He's did it when he was with the Scorpions. He did it for the last 2 years that he's been here. And we understand that he can be a very stubborn individual when it comes down to substitutions. We don't see many, period. I don't like that personally, but hey, that's the team. That's what he wants to rule. But I honestly think it's kicking us in the butt right now, man. And 5 games in, and we got El Paso, and then, we're going to get to talk a little bit about the U.S. Open Cup. It's not looking good. I mean, this is some firepower. We have no forwards. Bennett, scorer. Atif Diop, he's a scorer. David Loera, a scorer. Santiago Patino, a scorer. Jason Dillon, I feel like he's still working his way to get back into form. Our defenders are scoring. Garcia scoring. Mitch Tainer scoring. We have other players in different positions on the field that are scoring, which is great. You want to see that. But our true dedicated strikers have yet to even wow us or even work together or even come up with something that they were, we're spoiled, man. We're spoiled when it comes to forward strikers. We're used to the Christian Parranos. We're used to Patino coming back in there and Nathan Fogacci coming in and just destroying people. We're used to that. And right now we're not seeing that one bit. We're seeing our midfielders work so hard. You see the dedication on the pitch, and you see our defenders back there just holding that line, and you said it. They're defending, we've only allowed 2 goals, but we're putting goals on them. But man, it's coming at a cost, and we got a long way to go till October, big man.
Yeah, and just to go with what I said earlier, it wasn't Beckford that got hurt; it was Diouf that went off with an injury. So I kind of mixed those two together, and then we've given up 4 goals this year. But going back to the injuries, yeah, it's a lot of concern, and yeah, we've got some of these academy kids that are coming in, like Hendrik Shaxaug. Hopefully, I'm not hacking his last name. But he played very well. He had a very good Open Cup with that brace against DKSC there from Dallas. That was a good game for them, a good test. That was a good semi-professional team that they played against. So at least some of these kids are getting minutes, but the main concern is going back to is Alan Marchena not using the substitutes. The heat of the summer is coming. It's already practically here in South Texas. These guys are going to get tired, and we're going to see. And if we do make the playoffs again and we can sustain this run and be successful, we're going to have another playoff run where guys are going to be that last game of the season. They're going to be falling and cramping, and then we're going to end up with another loss.
With our deep bench that we have a very deep bench. And I don't understand why. Nothing against, that's what they're there for, right? The academy kids that are coming up, signing these pro contracts. We saw multiple kids score on, just pro-am teams, which is great. Congratulations. You put 2 on the squad, and then Holt scored another one, which is great. Good for you, man. But that's not going to win us a championship. Let's be honest. That has no experience. That's just straight up San Antonio. I don't see that as a very hopeful, positive reinforcement to what we're missing. God forbid, what if we lose one of our defenders? I don't even want to think about that right now, because my biggest concern is here comes a defender. They're working their butts off so hard, and one of them's going to be injured. I'm pretty sure they're resting, but I'm very concerned. So the state of San Antonio at the moment is they're a hot team, dude. They started 5 games, and they've been playing. They played through 5 games, and they got 1 loss. They got dealt at home, and hopefully that's not a pattern. We're winning it. Look, for a very long time, we've always gone on the road and tied or barely won or had to come back from a win or had to come back to win. This time we're actually going on the road and actually winning. And I'm cool with that. That's great. That shows a lot of maturity in our club that we can go out there and handle. That means we got players that have been included in San Antonio FC that can go out on the road and handle the pressures and the exhaustions and the time differences and all these things to go and play a game and have a great favorable result, if not the result of a win. But man, when we drop at home to a team like Phoenix, and let's be honest, and Phoenix is not even full strength either. That wasn't the best Phoenix team. That's not their best team. So basically, 2 struggling squads go at it, and the best of the struggling squads came out winning at home. And now we have another struggling squad in El Paso coming into San Antonio. They saw what Phoenix had done to San Antonio. They know about the injuries, and trust me, they're going to be pedal to the metal the absolute 90 minutes of the game. If we don't score early, if we don't get on the ball, if we're not attacking quick and as much as we could, if whatever forward striker is playing does not wake up and have a moment of brilliance, and we're waiting, 40 minutes, 45, 46, 50 minutes to actually score a goal, we're in trouble, dude.
Well, there are good signs coming up with the team getting healthy. PC was out for that game against Phoenix. Of course, we just saw him playing that US Open Cup, and he looked pretty healthy. Didn't look like he was missing a step coming back from whatever injury he had. Patino's been out on the training ground. We've seen him practicing. I believe he's posted a couple pictures on his Instagram account. And I've seen him out there on the pitch post games a couple of times. So he looks like he's almost ready to go. I don't know if he'll be ready for El Paso, but he should be ready to go in a couple of weeks. Of course, Katuka Mana, I have really no idea. I haven't really seen much of him.
From what I know,
post games.
From what I know, we got him. We needed a great player like him. He's a local, he's a local standout from Austin, Texas, out of David Dent's Forza VIP program back in the early days, and got signed on to Austin MLS first year. And from what I know is that he already was injured when he was at Austin MLS, and he's now in recovery phase with us. Probably more than likely, we won't see him till like mid-season, but that's a good addition. I can't wait mid-season because I don't want us to be, struggling to six or seven spot mid-season when we have all this firepower right now.
Yeah, and the defense is actually looking really good. We have 8
I love the defense.
We have 8 defenders on the roster right now. So with the addition of Kamiri, so we're actually pretty deep. Connor Maloney's there. I mean, you got Jordan that came in on loan from that team from Ghana. You got Teori, you got Garcia, of course, Mitch Tanner, who's team of the week. Jordan Farr has come in after Christian Bonilla retired unexpectedly due to personal reasons. And Jordan Farr has come in, and he was team of the week and also had save of the week for week 4 and got his first clean sheet. He's already recorded 12 saves through 2 matches. So The defense is looking pretty good. It's just the midfield is starting to get a little bit healthy. We just need to get a couple guys back. And of course, the biggest concern right now is just the forward striker position, because we don't have Patino. We're missing Mana. I mean, we don't know how long Diouf is going to be out. Ates is going to be out for. So those are the main concerns. So that's pretty much my concerns on the injuries right now.
Let's go be a little bit beyond. Okay, the injuries, we could sit here talk about, our current state and blaming the injuries, but it is concerning. I don't think that our current state right now has to do with these injuries. It's just big time because there's these big major games going on. Obviously, there's kind of like a second season that's currently being played, a tournament along with our tournament, which is the US Open Cup, the Open Cup, the Lamar Hunt Cup. Very major tournament in the United States of America. I mean, it's been around for over 100 years. It's the most respected cup. We've been through many Open Cups. Let's take, before we get into the US Open Cup and the concerns with the injuries there, let's just bury the hatchet with the injuries. For all we know, we just want them to get better. It's just concerning that it's so fast, so quick, so soon within 5 games. Agreed or disagree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So with that being said, let's just give these first 5 matches. I hate grades, but this is a pretty good San Antonio FC. I think we can't be comfortable. I think as we get into regular play of a regular prolonged season and bringing in the other teams that were missing last year, I think San Antonio FC is doing pretty well. I'm not impressed. I was expecting a little bit more than what I'm seeing, but hell, I'll take it, man. Freaking 4 wins, a loss, but that one loss at home really, boy, that really busted my chops, dude. I'm like, here we go again. We're back to the same old San Antonio FC of past. And that's a problem with the squad. There's a pattern of team that is so predictable with San Antonio. Anybody that I ever have ever spoken to that said you guys are the most predictable team that is in the USL. This is from folks that I've been friends of mine from different teams and squads and podcasts. It's always the same thing. You guys are the most predictable team. That's why you've never won a championship. I'm like, yo, that's far fetched from the truth. I'm going to defend my own. I'm going to defend my colors. But you know what? Let's be honest. Getting scored on 70th minute, it's been going on for 3 years. US Open Cup, they get to play an MLS team, get bumped out. Ended up starting off, and then all of a sudden we die off, and then we have this late spurt and start making these runs, and we barely hang on to a second or a third or a fourth. It's a pattern that the squad has. There's nothing guaranteed with San Antonio FC. And after what I saw, I was hopeful when Phoenix came in. If we would have, in my opinion, this is just an observation, my own soccer passion for the squad. If we would have beat Phoenix at home, I would have been like, yo, okay, we got injuries. We have a whole suite up there full of guys. We can have a half a team, and we beat Phoenix Rising at home. Yo, we're the real deal. That loss has got me like right here in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel confident with this SAFC team, and these injuries cannot possibly happen all year long. These guys are going to get healthy. This team is going to come together, and they're going to get their wins. But coming up for these next 10 games, I mean, these guys need to get healthy because
it's a big
these
stretch.
next 10
It's 10 games. It's a huge 10 games, and then if you continue winning.
Well, hold on. Like, what I wanted to make the point is, out of these next 10 games, 6 of them are away, so we only have 4 home games. A lot of them are winnable. A lot of these games, even the away games, are very winnable matches. They're not against very good teams. We do play Colorado twice in there, and then we also have Oakland Roots and then Sacramento are kind of like the tougher teams. But every other team in there, RGV, you have Monterey, who's an expansion team. I think we play them in there. So there's a lot of winnable games, of course, including El Paso, which right now they're struggling. They've given up 13 goals so far. So there's a lot of winnable games. It's just this team needs to come together with who they have right now, build that rhythm with whoever they have right now. And then as the injuries subside and the guys get healthy, plug those guys in, and then continue that rhythm. So that's the biggest thing that SAFC and Alan Marchand and the team needs to overcome.
Well, you mentioned it. You nailed it right there. I think, and it's one thing that I was not thinking about is the rhythm that this team is. And you're right. As long as they maintain that rhythm, that winning mentality, there's no doubt that these guys are playing with a lot of balls, man. These guys are playing with guts. There's no doubt that there's dedication on the pitch, and there's no doubt that this team is pretty pissed off that they lost in the Western Conference Championships last year. I think that they proved that against OC. I was happy. I was a satisfied individual after we dropped that doggone game against Phoenix. What is that movie? You come back and you totally redeemed yourself,
Yeah.
That's how I literally felt when they beat OC, and they dominated that whole game. But again, dude, it was our mids, it was our defenders doing the work that's, hey, it should be left to the top, to our top strikers up there, to our wings, lateral, right side, left side, and our forward strikers. But I mean, with Mitch coming up and understanding that he's able to do that because he's got a solid defense in the back that he knows that can back him up. Let's talk about Garcia. That was one of the best things. When I saw we signed Garcia from Austin Bold, Miguel, I told you, I said, oh man, this is going to be a game changer. Because we lost Kamiri because we didn't know he was going to come back. And we lost Courtney Ford, who, let's be honest, was a top defender in the USL last year. Straight up crushed it. Courtney Ford was like watching Sebastian Ibiaga all over again. I loved it. The guy was tenacious, rough, controlling, demanding in the middle. And we lost those 2 big guys. We got Garcia, and then we got more defenders. And I said, yo, this is it. Now Mitch Tainer can be used as an all-purpose back. Mitch Tainer right now reminds me of Iron Man of 2017 for us, but like 6 feet taller.
Yeah. I've seen that Mitch has been coming up a lot more this season. And of course, you can't forget about Carter Manley, who came in from RGV, our rivals. He's been playing outstanding. Teori has been playing good. So whenever these guys come in and get their minutes on defense, they've been doing pretty well. So I mean, the defense, I think, is going to continue to be the strong suit for SAFC, and they're the ones who's going to carry us to the playoffs until this team gets healthy and Patiño and Diouf and Mana get healthy.
Well, you know what? That's going to be, and we're just going to wrap it up right there when it comes down to this game. Very important game against El Paso 7:30 San Antonio FC this Saturday. We need to win this one. El Paso is going to be coming in because they need to win one, especially against San Antonio. They've been struggling all season long. It's not the same El Paso team. Agree or disagree, Miguel? It's not the same El Paso team that we've seen. It's a much, quote, on paper, weaker team than what we've seen in the last 3 years. But regardless, like I say, any team that comes into San Antonio is coming in to beat us. With that being said, there's another team that's going to be coming in, a very hated team in San Antonio culture soccer, or in soccer culture, a team that you can say probably stole our MLS dreams from us, a team that's not very liked in this region, but a team that's been trying to promote their squad. Very popular team in Austin. You know, they consider themselves the soccer city of Texas, which is, I mean, we can sit down here and talk a whole thing, but Austin FC playing in their first ever US Open Cup. Lucky for us, their first ever US Open Cup is against San Antonio FC, Miguel, and they're playing it in Toyota Field, my man. Let's get this talk going. Injuries, state of San Antonio. We have a team, but so does Austin. They're looking really good right now in MLS, better than what they did last year.
Yeah, Austin FC started hot in MLS, scoring 10 goals in the first 2 matches, putting up 5 against the first 2 opponents. They've kind of cooled off a little bit since then, but they're still in the top half of the MLS Western Conference, and they're looking good. They've signed Maxi Urruti, who was a former striker from FC Dallas. He also played with the Houston Dynamo, so that makes him quite possibly the first player in MLS history to play for all 3 Texas teams. And he's been kind of a resurgence in his career. I believe he's like 31 or 32 years old right now. Quote me if I'm wrong, but or don't quote me if I'm wrong. But he's somewhere in that age bracket. But it looks like he's had a resurgence in his career. Like playing for Austin FC has been a good fit for him. He's already scored a couple goals. He had a big goal again last week in the winter, I believe, against Minnesota. So Austin FC is coming in on all cylinders. They're looking pretty good. Feeling pretty good on their MLS thing, and they're coming in. I believe they're going to be coming in pretty confident, rolling to San Antonio to Toyota Field. Now, are they going to become a little bit overconfident? We'll have to see. But one thing for sure is that their fans are going to be coming. I believe about 250 seats are available for the Austin FC supporter group. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that mix. And of course, you got local fans in San Antonio, because we always see them every week, Benji. We see them every week with the Austin FC jerseys, even at the USL games. So they are fans of SAFC and Austin FC. So we're going to see how those people end up rooting for. But it's going to be a very exciting match. And there's also a lot of history behind this match. Even before these two clubs even existed, it seems like these 2 cities were already on a collision course for this match. I mean, something that's been years in the making. It's actually a video and an article that I'm working on. Hopefully I can release it here soon in the next couple of days. Before the Open Cup, but the article will definitely be coming out, but the video I'm kind of working on, so hopefully I can get that published here pretty soon.
Yeah, that's absolutely great work that you're doing, and you're right. There is some history between these 2 clubs, way beyond San Antonio FC and Austin. Soccer, and you're right. I love the way you put it. They've been destined for this moment since the inception of soccer football in the Central Texas region. Let's be honest. San Antonio FC's got fans have a very, very bitter taste in their mouth after, word started surfacing in 2018 that we got snubbed, and I say we as San Antonio got snubbed as the next MLS team after we were promised by, Spurs Sports Entertainment and the mayor at that time and Tim Holt at that, at the beginning of that time, that we were going to bring in MLS, and they're committed to bring in MLS. And then all of a sudden, just the rug got pulled under our feet. Suck it up, Buttercup. Austin has gotten it. Precourt did whatever the heck he did with Daddy Don Garber, and Austin takes it. And now, to their defense, man, they've done a hell of a job promoting that squad in Austin. If you ever have a chance to go to Q2 Stadium, that's the name of it. It's not called Austin FC. That's the name of the club. But if you go to the stadium by the name of Q2, you'll understand it's a beautiful, absolute beautiful stadium. We were there for friendlies and we were there for Gold Cups, Miguel. It's a beautiful stadium. It's small. It's loud. I believe it's actually one of the smallest stadiums in MLS. It's not even anywhere near downtown. You got to travel a good mount. If you're coming in from San Antonio, it's going to take you at least an hour and a half to two with traffic up to Q2 over by the Domain. So way up there in the north. And it's a beautiful stadium, and they promoted it well. And they don't even go by any English names. They call themselves Los Verdes from day one, and that's really cool. They understood the culture of soccer, and they ended up, hey, let's give this a little Texas Tejano flavor. Let's Spanglish it. So they Spanglished it, branded it, and you got what you have now. You got a good product in Austin, in the city of Austin. And now that little product or that huge product is going to be coming to be showcased in San Antonio. I'll be honest with you. This is a very, very important match for the city of San Antonio, for its people, for those that play soccer in this city. If we want to claim ourselves as a better soccer city than Austin, this US Open Cup is more than just a round 3, round 4. This is bragging rights on the line, my man. This is going to be, hey, we beat you first. Your MLS, get some. Give joy and pride to San Antonio. And there's a lot of pressure on Marcina, the squad, to shine. And number one, not be outperformed. Because here's the pattern of soccer of San Antonio. They get here to this round and they lose. The last time we had a chance like this was 2017 when FC Dallas.
That was 2019.
2019 when FC Dallas came to Toyota Field and beat us. Before that, Dinamo blew us out of the water. We've always lost to every MLS team in this round.
Yeah,
Can we break that pattern? I don't know.
Well, USL teams are naturally going to come in as the underdog no matter what, whether they play at an MLS stadium or they play at home. Obviously, because the level of talent on the rosters between a USL club and an MLS club is so different. It's just a different level. But have USL clubs in the past succeeded in US Open Cup? Of course. We've seen New Mexico a couple of years ago make a deep run into the US Open Cup. We've seen Cincinnati do it as well. So there is precedence in terms of a USL team making it far. Now, can this team beat Austin FC? I'm pretty sure SAFC is very capable of beating Austin FC. I mean, we have a lot of players on the roster with MLS experience. We have a player on the roster that used to play with Austin FC. That kind of gives us a little bit of familiarity with the club. So maybe that player with Mana could probably give us some insight on club tactics and play. So that can give us a little bit of an upper hand. Of course, the game has to be played on the pitch. And Benji, I understand that San Antonio FC would love to win this game. It would be a very important result to get that upper hand. It would be a win, probably maybe not for the ages, but at least of conversation for the next few years in terms of getting the upper hand. But what I really think is even more important is showing in the stands, packing the stadium with fans, with the supporters, and showing the Austin FC fans, Los Verdes and whoever, the Oak Army from New Braunfels, the 210 Verdes, whoever they may be, whoever those supporter groups are from Austin are coming down, to show them that there is a soccer culture, because they may not be aware of the soccer culture here in San Antonio. All they know is that MLS was considering San Antonio, all of a sudden it went to Austin. So they may not think that there is a fan base here, but if they see that familiar atmosphere that we had in the playoff run, even in the first couple of home games, even though the stadium hasn't been packed, but there's been a lot of atmosphere in that stadium, a lot more than we saw in 2018, 2019. We can't really count 2020, obviously, for obvious reasons, but this is like the most how do I put it, the most passionate I've seen the fans in a long time.
You made an absolute solid point. Floor to me to the ground. And you're right. This is the moment that the people need to come up, show up. That one moment we had last year before the boys went out to the Western Conference Championship in California, that organic crowd, the roar organically just vibing it with the lights, the cell phone lights, and the wave and the chants and the screams versus RGV and the bunker and the beer flowing. That was, again, the most iconic moment in Toyota Field. I'm hoping that for this Austin FC game, instead of seeing green, you see silver and black and red all over that doggone stadium, because they're gonna come, man. They're gonna buy tickets and they're gonna be in there with their Austin FC gear in Toyota Field. And this is our moment in time right now as a city to pack that thing so much that MLS takes notice, that USL takes notice at our passion for the game, of our club of and love for the city and the crest, man. I think it's going to be a great moment for San Antonio FC. I do hope that they end up with the big W and bragging rights over the end, but it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. And as long as they play hard, I think Austin FC is beatable. I really do. I really, really do think they're beatable at this moment right now.
Yeah, it is. And of course, the game has to be played next Wednesday. Of course, it's on April 20th on 420. Kickoff's at 8 p.m. So it's a little bit of a later kickoff, I believe, because it's going to be on ESPN Plus or 2. Or I think that's the reason for the to change the kickoff. But it's going to be a huge game. It's going to be a huge game for both clubs. Again, the history behind the whole MLS bid, how Austin got MLS bid, how San Antonio got snubbed, how San Antonio fans feel, rightfully they feel bitter about it. They felt like that this should have been an MLS club. Toyota Field was built to be an MLS stadium. It has the capacity to be expanded pretty quick with an upper deck and some modifications that would cost probably about 150, maybe $200 million, which is pennies on the dollar than what, building a brand new stadium would have. We do have the soccer culture here to have an MLS team. And of course, then Austin FC in a matter of 2 to 3 years went from not even dreaming of having a professional team in Austin to having an MLS team, which is succeeding right now. But they've had surprisingly to me, an awesome fan base. I can't deny that they've had a great fan base, great supporter group, especially compared to what Houston the last couple of years, the Houston Dynamo fan base has been, and then the FC Dallas fan base. I thought they were going to be kind of similar in terms of that, being kind of a lukewarm reception to the region. But Austin has embraced the city of Austin has embraced Austin FC, and San Antonio needs to do the same with SAFC. The fans need to come out Wednesday. Hopefully we can get a full packed stadium. That last US Open Cup game against FC Dallas, I was a little bit disappointed in terms of the stadium not being sold out. I mean, there was a good crowd that day. We were competitive. We lost 1-0, but I was really hoping that would have been with MLS coming in, with an MLS team coming in, it would have been a sold out crowd.
100% agree with that statement, Miguel. Ladies and gentlemen, for your San Antonio FC talk, Miguel, it was awesome. US Open Cup, El Paso coming into town, Austin FC coming into town. This is our moment to shine. I don't think it's ever happened this way. It's kind of like in high school soccer playoffs. We just got done doing that section. We're not done yet. Still, side note, Bernie champion and Bernie girls going on to the 4A and 5A state championships. We will be there. We have our credentials and everything ready to roll. But it's never been seen before where the regional finals were done in San Antonio to one stadium. This is basically what's happening right now. US Open Cup and the USL regular season, all in San Antonio. This is our time to take this and show the world, and the world and America, that we got soccer in San Antonio, Miggy.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm looking forward to this game against Austin FC. Regardless whether we win or lose, I just want the fans to show up, show this Austin crowd, whoever the 200 or so that are coming, because they will be coming, and they're going to be very vibrant. They're going to be very lively. They're going to be loud. I just want us to be just as loud. The other 70, 80, 400 seats that are available get filled with SAFC fans, and that we represent regardless whether we win or lose. I think you gain more respect if you have that passionate fan base show up and support the club no matter what happens.
Last words coming at you. I'm going to go begin this one first. Hopefully our team gets healthy. We need to get these boys healthy. It's very important for us. It's very important for our squad. They're working hard. I'm right here in the middle with this team. I'm hoping that they have a long 10-game stretch coming up, Miguel. And I think this is going to be the biggest challenge for San Antonio FC when it comes down to the dedication and the heart. There's no doubt that they're playing with both of those. But when it comes down to endurance and when it comes down to just staying healthy, because this is a long 10-game this 10-game stretch that they're going to have here right after this US Open Cup is going to be a very big challenge for the squad. They're doing great. They're doing awesome. They're showing up. They're playing hard. They're giving their hearts out on the pitch, and they're loving it, and they're doing it for the fans. I can't wait for Saturday. I can't wait for next week on Wednesday.
Yeah, final words for me is just make sure to follow us on social media at SoySaf, and also our articles. We have some great high school student athlete profiles throughout the season that you want to check out, and then also our news on SAFC. It's all on SoySaf. On SoySaf.com.
Yes, not only that, we're going to get ready because World Cup qualifiers is over, and we are going to definitely be bringing you more of the U.S. men's national team and the U.S. women's national team. Miguel, solid podcast. Love it, my guy. It's good to have you back on the podcast with us. Loving the background. Puro San Antonio FC. Loving the ball cap, bro. You looking stellar out there, my man.
Thanks, my dude. It almost looks like I'm actually at Toyota Field, but it's just a photo I took a couple weeks ago from that last home game.
You nailed it, big dog.
Thanks,
San Antonio,
man.
we love you guys. For San Antonio football, San Antonio FC talk this week, the first 5 weeks, Benjamin Mendoza and your buddy, your best friend out there.
Miguel Padilla, y'all take care.